confirm we can go back into public. I'll just ask Alison to start the record.
Can the recording now be restarted and any members of the public to return to the meeting? Yep. The scrutiny recommendation is listed on page 14 of your agenda pack. Can I please have a proposer and a seconder?
Happy to propose, Chair.
Thank you. Sorry, Councillor Rogers. Councillor Reynolds, please.
Thank you. I have a concern about the recommendations, which I wanted to wait until we were considering them to raise, and that is that normally the leader would be included in the decisions and the delegations, and that is not the case. So we'd have the cabinet member and the leader and the relevant director. Can we have that, please, or a reason why that's not the case on these? Thank you.
As you know, this is scrutiny, so we will make sure that it's fed into the cabinet for October the 2nd, and then cabinet can decide. So yes, we'll make sure cabinet are aware of that request at the appropriate time.
Thank you.
So we move to the recommendation. Yep. Can I please have a proposer and a seconder?
Happy to propose, Chair.
Happy to second, Chair.
Thank you. Can members please indicate if they wish to abstain?
Chair, I can see one abstention. Sorry, Councillor Rahman. I've just noted that. Thank you. So I can confirm there's 2 abstentions, Chair. Councillor Peter Rees, are you putting your hand up to abstain?
Yes, I am.
Thank you, Councillor Rees. That's noted.
All other members in favour?
Sorry, Chair. Can I just ask Peter Rees to lower his hand?
Okay, so we've got 3 abstentions. Can I have votes for, please, to support the recommendation to Cabinet?
I can confirm, Chair, that recommendation is supported to Cabinet.
Thank you, and thank you very much, members, for contributing to that item. Moving on to agenda item 4B, an overview of the school-based counselling service, support for school and staff wellbeing. This report is here for information. Do officers have anything to add to the report, please?
Thank you, Chair. It's just to say that this is an update on the school-based counselling service. It's a statutory service and an important service, just given the increasing need in mental health for children and people in Neath Talbot. Thank you. Happy to take questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions on this report, please, members? No, I don't see any. I've just got a question myself, if you don't mind, officers. Thank you very much for your work. I know you work extremely hard, under very difficult circumstances as well. Just on page 55, regarding missed appointments, 197 missed sessions, which, is really concerning, isn't it? I see in the report that you state that you'll be working with schools to reduce this over the coming years. I was just wondering if we could have some detail regarding how you will go about doing this, please. Thank you. Diolch.
Hello, happy to answer that question. So a major difficulty we can have in some of our schools is some of our systems of getting pupils to us. Because of the confidential nature of counselling and therapy, we're not able to just waltz into classrooms and collect our children. So it's about working with those schools where maybe we may have some hotspots around DNAs and missed sessions to support them in working together and how we can get our pupils to us. As you can imagine, some of our pupils we work with are very, very vulnerable. And even though you may give them their appointment time for the following week, they may not always remember. So it's just developing our systems with our schools around that.
Lovely. Diolch yn fawr. Thank you again, and that report is for noting. Moving on to agenda item 4C, Welsh and Education Strategic Plan Annual Report. The report is for information. Do officers have anything to add to the report, please?
Just a very brief thing, thank you, Chair. Just to remind members that this is an annual report that we bring every year on progress of the 10-year WESP. So this is year 2 that we're reporting on, and it's just an overview of everything that's gone on in the past 2 years. Thank you. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Diolch yn fawr. Do we have any questions, please, members? I don't see anybody. I am going to take this opportunity just to ask members when promotional material videos are available, if we could share them on social media or share them with the community. I think that'd be, really welcomed, because there is a lot of good work going on and we do need to promote it ourselves. So diolch yn fawr I chi gyd. Thank you. And that report is also for noting. Agenda item 4D, childcare rents in schools. Officers, would you like to add anything to the report, please?
Diolch, Chair, thank you. Just to say, really, the report is focused on childcare in schools. So it's following a successful pilot to support the sustainability and growth of bilingual and Welsh medium childcare provision. I just wanted to say as well, the report is part of a wider approach to fulfilling our statutory duties, as is noted. There have been no negative impacts during the pilot period. And I just wanted to note as well that we are aware of wider issues within the childcare sector. We are committed to the sustainability of the sector as a whole, and obviously in line with the childcare sufficiency assessment, we are making every effort to support all childcare settings within Neath Talbot, and happy to take questions. Diolch yn fawr. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I know there's been a lot of discussion regarding this item as well. Councillor Reynolds, I don't know if you've discussed with officers and are happy with...
I would just like to thank the officers for the efforts they've taken to make sure that councillors are fully understanding this situation, and the work they also do in the wider sector to try and make things work in difficult circumstances. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We've got the Cabinet Member, Deputy Leader Alun Llywelyn, please.
Diolch Cadeirydd. Dim ond am gael sicrwydd o rhywbeth. I'm sorry, I should have asked at the outset of the meeting. I don't know whether as a Cabinet Member sitting in on scrutiny that I need to declare an interest, but I am a Governor at Ysgol Gymraeg Cwm Llynfell, which is one of the schools which is a school hosting one of the Cylchoedd Meithrin, which is mentioned in the report. I'm not sure whether I need to declare an interest or not, but I would prefer to do if I need to. Diolch. But otherwise, thank you for all the work that's gone in, to the back of the report, and it would be appreciated by the schools concerned as well to clarify the situation.
Diolch yn fawr. Thank you. So the recommendation... Oh, sorry, Councillor Rogers.
No question, Chair. Just I had the advantage of, with a couple of other members, meeting with the team to allay some of my concerns, and I was very grateful and pleased with what I heard from them, and thank you for the time for meeting with me.
Thank you very much. Any further questions, please, members? No, I don't see anyone. The recommendation is listed on page 198 of the agenda pack. Can I please have a proposer and a seconder?
Happy to propose, Chair.
I would second, Chair.
Thank you very much. Can members please indicate if they wish to abstain?
I can see no abstentions, Chair.
Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary, then I will take it that this recommendation is supported.
Chair, I can see no indication to the contrary, so this recommendation is supported to Cabinet.
Thank you very much. Moving on to agenda 4E, Strategic Schools Improvement Programme, proposal to reorganise additional learning needs provision at Cwm Tower Comprehensive School. And this is permission to consult only. Officers, would you like to add anything additional to the report, please?
No, just to say it's a fairly straightforward report in terms of school reorganisation. It'll be the first of 3 reports coming to members. This is the first stage in the process, asking for approval to consult. And if there's any questions, we're happy to take them.
Thank you. Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you. It's just a question that I didn't find the answer to in the report. Got no concerns about the closure of a unit which is not got any, is not, doesn't have any efficacy at the moment. However, is there in Towie School, does this free up space and possibility for a unit that could serve the needs of those children who do have need of these facilities at the current time? And is that possible for the future?
Happy to take that question. Diolch, thank you. Councillor, answer your question. It's something we are looking at the moment, not just Clontawi, but across the board. So we've recently undertaken a review of planned places across the authority to look at where need is and to look at where that would be best situated. So we're having ongoing discussions and conversations with schools, and happy to bring that report back at a later date.
Yeah.
And of course, crucially, Councillor Renz, you're right. What both this and the next report, if they finally get approved, you know, after the 3 stages, it does free up much needed resource to be able to do what you've just suggested. So,
Thank you. Diolch. Any further questions, please? I don't see anyone. The recommendation is listed on page 222 of the agenda pack. Can I please have a proposer and a seconder?
Happy to propose, Chair.
Second, Chair.
Thank you. Can members please indicate if they wish to abstain?
I can see no abstentions, Chair.
Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary, then I will take it that this recommendation is supported.
Chair, I can see no indication to the contrary. This recommendation is supported to Cabinet Board.
Thank you. Agenda 4F, Strategic Schools Improvement Programme, proposal to reorganise additional learning needs provision at Kevin Sison Comprehensive School. Again, this is permission to consult. Officers, would you like to add anything to the report?
Just to say, as the same for the one before, it's the first in a series of 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Do members have any questions? I don't see anybody. The recommendation is listed on page 262 of the agenda pack. Can I please have a proposer and a seconder?
Happy to propose, Chair.
Happy to second, Chair.
Thank you. Can members please indicate if they wish to abstain?
I can see no abstentions, Chair.
Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary, then I will take it that this recommendation is supported.
Chair, I can see no indication to the contrary. This recommendation is supported to Cabinet Board.
Diolch. Agenda item 4G, Air Quality Action Plan. Officers, would you like to add anything to the report, please?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. A bit of a change of direction with this particular report, Chair. This report essentially considers what is a consultation draft of our air quality action plan, and should ultimately we get member approval, it sets out the consultation procedures that we will follow. Just briefly, by way of context, back in the year 2000, we declared an air quality management area for the Margam-Taibach area, based on the fact that we exceeded air quality objectives. Now, whilst we have had a period of good reporting where we've not exceeded those objectives, unfortunately back in 2023 we did exceed those again. So for the foreseeable future, at least, the air quality management area will remain in place. So what that essentially then means, Chair, is that the framework requires us then to review and revise our air quality action plan as a consequence, which will set out how we're going to address those issues. So the report, or at least the action plan, is presented in full in Appendix 2. The report, in parts, is quite technical, but if I was to signpost a particular section of the plan, I would certainly signpost the action plan, which is set out in Table 5.1, which sets out the variety of actions that we will be looking to implement. But that's all I really need to say at this point, Chair, but happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. Members, do we have any questions, please? Councillor Nathan Goldrick-John.
Thank you, Chair, Kerry and the team. Yeah, I can reiterate Kerry's words about this being quite a technical report. I did find myself chewing my way through this at parts. So I won't bog anyone down on the detail, quite frankly, because I potentially don't understand it. But I just wanted to ask 2 questions, if that's okay. The first one is, is this consultation period just for the consultees listed in table? I don't think it has a number. It's under table 4.1, so I'm assuming it's 4.2, or does this go to the public? And then secondly, and if it's in the report, apologies. And then secondly, it's just with the actions that Kerry mentioned, in particular measure 26, which is the deployment of electric buses as part of the decarbonisation plan. Now, are we saying we're going to have all the buses in Neath Talbot as electric buses, or is one bus that is an electric bus an acceptable addresses that measure acceptably? So if we could answer those 2 points, please, I'd be happy. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. In response to the first question, there will be an element of public consultation, so it will be available for members of the public to consider and submit any comments should they wish. But again, because primarily it is a technical report, we are also required to engage with our statutory bodies, which are listed in the report, and that's why it's sort of probably appropriate to highlight them in the covering report for members. But just to give assurance, there will be a public element, so it'll be on the council's website, and we will do some publicity accordingly in advance of that. I'm not sure I quite followed exactly the question you were answering about the buses. So is it a case of whether are there certain targets associated with each of these? Was that the question, Councillor?
Yeah, sorry. So let me just be a bit more clear. What's our ambition here? Are we saying one bus is acceptable because that's deployment of electric buses as per this plan, or are we saying we're going to have the whole fleet be in electric buses and that's acceptable?
Well, I think broadly, if we're looking at the decarbonisation and sort of climate change agenda, I think the longer term we would want to transition all of the fleet ultimately to electric vehicles. Obviously, there's a huge cost associated with that, and it's not something that's going to be achieved overnight. Obviously, this action plan covers a 5-year period. It will be reviewed. I suspect, as part of the monitoring of this action plan, how it's implemented, we will be reviewing all of the actions and measures proposed. If any updates are required as a consequence in terms of how we're progressing with each of these, then that will be dealt with at that particular time. But I don't know, Kelvin, is there any particular target associated with that one?
No, on that one, there's no targets that we in Environment Health have identified, but this is a project that's run by others, so it is one that's included in there because we do feel it is relevant. And I think there was another project about the hydrogen bus trials that's going on. Again, it's one that Environment Health are not directly involved with, but we can certainly get information out of them as part of this action plan, and we will be monitoring it as a proposal within this action plan then going forward.
Okay, thank you both. So notwithstanding kind of bus franchising and the Welsh Government's agenda there is an ambition to try and see whole-scale fleet decarbonisation through electric buses.
Yes, but the caveat
Brilliant,
again
thank
is
you.
that's not going to happen overnight. Obviously, there's a significant cost associated with that. Obviously, the officer to my left, Hugh Jones, will be very much involved in that process, and clearly there are commitments that we will. The ambition is there, of course, but clearly there are real sort of issues to get overcome to achieve a lot of these. And I think the report sort of highlights that. A lot of these targets and issues are sort of dealt with by other sections, but the action plan as a whole will monitor how we are doing in a lot of these over the course of the 5-year period. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Ambition is critical, as they say, isn't it? So, yeah. Any other questions? No. Okay. The recommendation is listed on page 300 of the agenda pack. Can I please have a proposer and a seconder?
Happy to propose, Chair.
Happy to second, Chair.
Can members please indicate if they wish to abstain?
I can see no abstentions, Chair.
Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary, then I will take it that this recommendation is supported.
Chair, I can see no indication to the contrary, so this recommendation is supported to Cabinet.
Thank you. Moving on to part 2, agenda item 5, to consider items from the Scrutiny Committee Forward Work Programme. There are no Scrutiny Committee Forward Work Programme items to be considered. Agenda item 6, performance monitoring. This is a standing agenda item and there are no items to be considered. Agenda item 7, selection of items for future scrutiny. Pamela, would you like to give us an update on the Cabinet Forward Work Programme, please? Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I just want to let members know that going forward, the Cabinet Forward Work Programme, we've had some discussions with officers because of the issues that have been raised. So any new items added to the Cabinet Forward Work Programme will be highlighted in green. So the members can see when they have in their papers at a glance which items have been added that you may want to consider. Also, you may notice that a column has been added to the Cabinet Forward Work Programme, which indicates when an item has been selected for scrutiny, so you can see that at a glance as well. So I hope those additions will make life easier for members. I just want to go through some items. I'm not going to share it today. I know it is quite difficult to see. Members will have had sight of the Cabinet Forward Work Programme in the agenda pack. So I'm just going to go through and just let you know some items that have been added. Blue plaque scheme has been added to the 23rd of October. I haven't received any indications from members that they've chosen to scrutinise that. There's some items that have been moved on the Scrutiny Forward Work Programme. So this is an agreement with the Chair. The Education, Leisure and Lifelong Learning Strategic Development Plan has moved from December to October. And the same applies to the School Budget Pressure Report, which has moved from the 5th of December to the 24th of October. The 5th of December, there's been 2 reports added to the Scrutiny Forward Work Programme. This again is an agreement with the Chair. The reports are Leadership Strategy and its impact on the Neath Talbot workforce and schools, and Teaching and Learning Support and Development Programme. I'm moving forward to the Scrutiny Forward Work Programme for the 16th of January. The Aberavon Seafront Master Plan has moved from October to the 16th of January, and the Neath Talbot Event Strategy has been added to the 16th of January 2025. Members indicated to me that they had an interest in a report that's going to Cabinet on the 2nd of October in relation to the provision of outdoor activities at Margam Park. So that will be programmed into the Forward Work Programme when I can identify a suitable date with officers. Okay, so I just want to go through those changes that have been made in agreement with the Chair and ask if members have any other items that they want to select for scrutiny.
I think we've got enough on our agendas, haven't we? And just to make officers aware as well, we have been discussing as a committee the fact that we had these papers Friday afternoon, 500 pages, and we attended pre-scrutiny on Tuesday. So it doesn't give us a lot of chance. So I think that's something you're going to be working on with officers as well, regarding the amount of papers and sometimes the complexity of them as well. So thank you, officers, for your work on the new scrutiny model. Councillor Reynolds.
Just to back you up on that, Chair, we also discussed that as we would prefer with some items, and it was suggested when this new scrutiny model started, that we would have the ability to participate at an earlier stage, that we would like to work with officers with the assurance that papers don't need to be as perfect as they would be for decision at Cabinet by the time they come here. We will need to be able to see things at an earlier stage. We will want to see things at an earlier stage, and it's a different way of working, but we don't, if we're going to see things earlier, then there probably will be some changes in them following the discussions.
I completely agree with what you've just said, Councillor Reynolds, and I am very mindful that you are right. There's 500 pages that went out whenever they went out, and there's an awful lot of reading. There's an awful lot of technical detail in there. So I have a lot of sympathy. So I'm hoping that as we work through this, I'm mindful there's an awful lot of information that prepared by my officers today, which I know you will have done your best to read, to be fair. But wasn't discussed, wasn't presented today. Huge amount of efforts have gone into it. So I thank my officers for all that work. So hopefully we'll get to a position where maybe things get stretched out a bit. There's more time to spend on really important monitoring reports, which is it's still really important that members understand the council business, because I know officers want members to know their successes, their challenges, what they find difficult, what they think they excel in at. So I think that sort of partnership two-way thing is really important. So hopefully it'll work its way through, Sonia. So maybe part of that will be getting involved in these things earlier. So
thank you. And sometimes verbal updates, are just as useful as having a bump of paper, isn't it? So verbal updates are also fine. So thank you. Thank you very much. So agenda item 8, urgent items. You'll be pleased to hear I have no urgent items. And agenda items 9, 10 and 10A have already been considered under item 4A. So that brings today's business to an end. Thank you very much for attending and for your contributions. Diolch yn fawr. Thank you.
Chair, can I just say something? Thank you very much for allowing me to attend and observe the meeting. I really appreciated it.
Thank you very